governments sold out to investors. The inflow of black money in the form of electoral bonds. How did the money not in the books of the company get into the election bonds? Electoral bonds building democracy. Is the political business done by parties with billions of funds? Complete analysis on electoral bonds by CHV Prabhakar Rao. BJP, TMC, BRS, and parties that received crores in the form of election funds did not answer the question of whether the parties have turned politics into business. Have the leaders who say patriotism, honesty, purity, and transparency ever questioned how they got the money given to them by business organizations? Political parties may have received funds from society's scumbags, narcotic smugglers, and even traders. The full details of these need to be disclosed. Answer to common man's question why political parties are silent. Inflow of black money in the form of electoral bonds. How companies without profits have given hundreds of crores of subscriptions. People need to know what benefits are provided by the governments to the benefited companies. It is unclear to what extent the amount received by political parties in the form of election bonds is black money, and how much the organizations and individuals gave honestly. Although a lot of money is required for the management of political parties, wanting to manage politics with crores of funds is like an axe for the country's democratic system. Supportive and regional parties with the ruling BJP have received a large amount of funds. In this regard, a large amount of corrupt funds have been received by political parties, and all the parties are silent about the funds received through various channels. Criticism is spreading that the elders in television and the press are using all their powers and trying to mislead the people without the common people knowing these things. Role of Hyderabad companies. Hyderabad-based Aurobindo Pharma, Mega Nirman Sanstha, Navayuga, Yashoda Hospitals, Raheja, My Home Sanstha, Hetero Drugs, Reddy Labs, etc. have contributed funds to political parties. The problem is that all these institutions have been raided and searched by the Central Bureau of Investigation. Funds were handed over only after searches. A person belonging to the Aurobindo organization is accused in the Delhi liquor cases and has turned into an approver. Need to know how many more companies there are. Ever since the Supreme Court of the country struck down the release of these election bonds as a violation of fundamental rights, transparency, and the right of the common man to know, the intellectuals and public groups have been observing the dramas played by the state bank that sold these bonds to reveal their details and their impact on the common people. Organizations are expected to be transparent. But as much as possible, the main newspapers, especially the regional language newspapers and channels, completely ignore the issue, which surprises the Democrats. On social media, some English newspapers have announced which organization has given funds to which party and when in the form of election arrows. There is delay in declaring the intentions behind giving hundreds of crores of funds to the respective parties, especially the parties in power at the center and in the states. Many intellectuals are expressing doubts that most of the funds received by the BJP, which is in power at the center, were given by the organizations after the raids by ED, IT and CBI. There is no answer to the question of who are the investors behind the donation of hundreds of crores to the BJP by many companies that cannot earn at least 10 crores of profit, and all the money goes to those companies. Also, it is known that the center has allocated projects worth thousands of crores to the organizations that have given funds. Also, there is a need to reveal the truth in the allegations that the respective governments in some states have benefited some organizations and obtained funds in the same way. It is believed that the BJP has indirectly introduced black money in the market in the form of electoral bonds, claiming to end corruption. Because there is no need to pay any tax on the subscription money given to political parties. It is fully tax-exempt. Also, there are suspicions that some big companies may have created bogus companies to give hundreds of crores without showing profits. There is no answer to the allegation that the center has indulged in money laundering by amending the Companies Act to allow any foreign company to fund political parties through its Indian joint venture. The matter is clear. But the question of who is telling all these things to the common people should be answered by the people themselves. The day political leaders and parties that are stained with black money are removed, the country's democracy will get a new light. In the past, after changing the provision in the company law that only 7.5% of their profits for the last 3 consecutive years can be given in the form of donations to political parties, it has been revealed that many companies, especially shell companies, bought hundreds of crores of election bonds and gave them to political parties. There is a need for an in-depth investigation into the financial dealings of the companies that bought the election bonds and the benefits provided to them by the political parties that received them. Political parties are not responding much because the question arises as to who will speak if everyone is a thief. It is said that all the organizations that have raised billions of funds have given such large amounts of subscriptions because of looting of public money in some form, to hide their mistakes or to get profits from government works.